I'll be showing you the cash flows and group accounting reporting, and the integration concepts also will be covered. And then we'll be completing the classes. Okay. So I'm sharing my session here. So if you can see here my screen. So this is what I told to you. Some of these IDs projects were being deactivated yesterday, and this is why I'm not able to show you. So I have resolved that issue. It took more than 2 hours for me to resolve this configuration issue. So this is what I'm continuously telling. So even your live projects also to like have this time validity. Please ensure that whenever you do anything in the org structures, that just don't leave it as it is. You just complete that and confirm that particular thing, so that the rest of all the other automatic process in this, right, we should be in the completed mode like this. If this is not in a completed mode, anything in reopen mode, you're doing something on that, right, system will stuck automatically. It took a lot of time for me to resolving that, because we are all on one environment. This really happened that. And I said earlier, everyone won't get this access directly. Only certain power users or admins will actually take care of that. So at the time of configuration, please be careful what you're doing on that. Okay. And then coming to here, the defining of tax code. So I have explained clearly the tax codes, yesterday, what the tax code, what we do, the tax codes, everything. So I'm just going to the demonstration of the configuration of tax codes. So go to the accounting, the tax management, the tax, the tax codes for sales and purchases. Okay. So if you have any unified jurisdiction code structures are there, then you have to activate this. I'll tell you when you have to. I'm not touching right now. If I touch this, some of the other things will go down. So I'm not touching right away. Let me show you first of all how you define your new tax codes and categories and purchases for that. So to define your new tax codes, always you have to go to this, which is define tax codes for sales and purchases. So it will ask you for which country or region you want to do that. So for example, if I do for Maldives, okay, because some of these are already there. So that's I'm checking for some other country here. Check it on your own here. This is not specified here. Let's try for India. No issues. Okay, some of the calculation procedures are not there. Okay, let me assign the country to the calculation procedure. See here. So when you get this type of errors, right, so that particular country is not available for your calculation procedure. So which it means that it was not been added for the tax calculations, right? So we can't assign that. So in that case, we have to go to this one, assign country or region to the calculation procedure. Okay. So first go to here, whatever the countries that you want to add it there, right? You can add them here. So you will be getting the list of countries here. So you can see here some of the countries, they don't have the calculation procedures here. You just have to add that calculation procedure and you have to activate, save this, that's it. So I will be taking 2-3 countries for our purpose here, just to show you. These are not in right alphabetical order. We check our country. For Indonesia, I'm adding tax jurisdictions, sales tax. Okay. Some of the other should be added for this. Okay, this is not allowed. So let me add someone here. Like India is also not allowed. Okay. Like let me add for GUAM. These are all reserved, and if you can see, these are all faded here, which means they're already pre-reserved or they are not allowed for now for this. So those are allowed. You can see these a few blank columns where in which you can actually use that. So I'm trying to use it. Let me use and let me check for Maldives also. Maldives is a small country, right? We can add it for that. Yeah, Sri Lanka we can use. Yeah, Sri Lanka also we can use instead of Maldives. Let me go for this one. Sales tax. Okay, and then okay, two countries is enough for just in configurations. I have to just show you, not more than that. Just save this setting. This is very important whenever you're doing this. So create your own request if the request is not onto the mark. GULK, right? These are the codes I want. That's the reason I'm just checking here. So save this and go back. So we assign that. Okay, now close this page just to ensure that these are added on. Again, go to the procedures there. What are the LK and GOM we added, right? So there now we can see that this particular things will be faded, whatever this been added already. See, we have been done, right? The saved. So just to confirm, with because we're doing a few things on this, right? So just to confirm that. Now you go to define tax codes for sales and purchases. Okay, now go for LK because we go for Sri Lanka, right? Continue. See now we are into this thing. So you have to configure your calculation procedures once that for which country you want to configure your tax codes and all these things, right? So that country we selected that. So now you have to provide the tax code, okay, which is very important, and the jurisdiction applied further, and the valid from which date. Anyways, this is a posting date will be there. The date, the current date will be your valid date. So just select the tax code here. So there are some tax codes are there in which you can see there are many tax codes will be there. Okay, like output tax, because all tax code these are whatever you're just seeing are predefined in your what I can say in your original licensed version. Also, you might get more tax codes because these are originating from the source country that is designated during the creation of the customer local version. That's what I told you about lot maintenance customer local version yesterday. So here, the tax codes are replicated from the SAP delivered version, which is tailored for this particular country. This is taxes they have just given. For Sri Lanka, these are the taxes which was came as per the pre-delivered content. Okay. So now here you can select any one of the tax codes here. Okay. So let me select that. Once again, this is slow. So let me select something called output tax or something like that. So this one I'm selecting and say OK. Okay, this jurisdiction is not really important, but still, if you want to add, because every country have their many states and countries, like US kind of thing, they have different tax structures for different states also there. If you want to add those, you can add. For now, you just delete, no, not required this one. Just simply say OK. Okay, this is asking me to add this one also. There are no selections here. Say OK. Okay, so this will be taking you to the next level, which is the maintaining of your display tax codes, and tax rates will be there. So wherein which you can maintain the tax codes. The moment you do this tax, you get your tax jurisdictions for that particular preloaded section, right? So you will get all your tax types. What are the basic tax types are there? What is the account keys for that? And you will get all these different jurisdiction codes, names for that. Which is having the different rates for that, whatever, everything will comes into this picture. If you go down, you can see all the different sales tax that has been levied from this tax procedure. So in case you can see this, there are no tax rates are there right now. It is completely empty because we are in display mode. If you want to go to edit mode, you try to edit this. So these are the different levels. These are the jurisdictions. These are the periods. Okay, so here you can edit this. Let me try to edit. If you can edit, means in general this will be logged. Okay, you will not be doing, if you don't have an access for this, only the tax percentage. If you want to edit, right, you have to go to the edit mode. Else this will be logged for you. You can't see this particular section. Okay, or else if sometimes if these tax rates don't have any tax rates, they have any default tax rates, tax percent rates are there, then also you will not see this section. So don't confuse. When things are not there, don't get worried. So this is how the configurations will be there in the SAP. So in the public cloud right now. So that is the reason even I'm not getting edit option also here. I'm just checking here. Yeah, I don't have to edit because it's already predefined, so it is not asking me to do. But in general, if you want to do any other countries or any other tax rates, you can actually save them. You can write the tax percentage rates of, for example, if you want certain sales tax to be used for 10%, 21%, so you can add the rates and simply save that. That's it. So once you are done with this configuration, if you go to this period, let me tell you these periods also. So if you can see this, the levels and periods, okay. So periods are not defined for that. So generally periods will say that, there'll be different tax rates applied for different time periods. If there are any time periods that are defined for this tax procedure, then you can see that. Okay, but this is a normal tax procedure, so there are no periods and rates for that, so we are not able to see. So once we are configured that, we go back. You can simply exit this. Okay. So again, if you want to try for that, it will not allow you because it's already done for that, right? So any other tax codes, if you want to make it, you can make it for that. So I have done for this one. So other tax codes will be also there, right? So like this, you can define new tax codes. I have gone with O1 now. If you want to go for something like L1 right now, let's say. So just select that particular thing. Put that again here. Again, go here. Like the same thing. You just save this. You just configure that. Again, exit. So like this, for all tax codes for each country, whatever the tax codes are there, you can configure like that, and you can define the tax codes for this in this public version. Okay, so this is how we generally do the tax codes definitions on this particular thing. And especially for tax codes, right? So certain times we have to do the assign this tax codes for non-taxable transactions also, like non-taxable transactions. What are non-taxables? For all that, if you want to assign tax codes, we have a special thing called assign tax codes for non-taxable transactions, wherein which if you go here, the last time we did this. Okay, so whenever any company code, if you can provide that company code, and if you know the input output tax, you have a jurisdiction code for that. You can add that here, and you can actually simply add that particular company name for the non-taxable category, and you can add that jurisdiction code. The code is important, based on which your non-taxable code will be added in this particular thing. Okay, so this is again. Let me show you. So another entry, you want to add another entry on the company code. Let's say I'm adding for Strive only here. Continue. So you can add your new taxes, whatever the new tax codes you want to add here, you can apply like this. Okay, your input tax, your output tax, you can apply here. And simply you have to give your proper jurisdiction code also. Here we have only one jurisdiction code here. So we are using that one only. But in case if you have, because India also to state one code will be there. We don't have any different things. So you have to use the same thing for India. For other countries, you have to use this like this. You can actually position it. You can save this here. So already same code I have already added, right? So now we can go back. See, so the same tax code is not allowing me. If you have any different tax code, you can add it further. So like this, this has been changed. Now I changed to U1 to 01. So on the company code level, this has been changed. The change has been reflected. So like this, you can configure your new taxes on with the different jurisdiction codes, or on the same, the input output can be changed. You can configure like this for the non-taxable transactions. Okay, so this is about your tax codes. Now going to withholding tax of the suppliers.
Yeah. Is the jurisdiction code mandatory?
Yeah, it is
for all.
Yes, it's mandatory.
Okay, because currently I mean in our current scenario, we only provide jurisdiction code for US countries.
Huh.
So we're not posting any jurisdiction for other entities.
Yeah, there is a default jurisdiction code is there. We have seen right now when I'm configuring without giving jurisdiction code, system is not accepting me here in the public cloud. So you have to provide a null jurisdiction code if a code is not there for that, because in SAP you have that you have to provide. So if that is there, you can provide. If not, there is a null jurisdiction code is there, which is default, we can say. So it will be taking automatically for that.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
And now coming to the withholding taxes, guys. So before that, if you want to update any tax rates, okay, sometimes you have to update tax rates also. You have to define your tax jurisdictions also. So for that, you have to go to these things. If you want to define new tax jurisdiction, something, if someone has told me that there is no tax jurisdiction, so your company might asking you for that. So you have to configure your new tax jurisdiction also, wherein which you have to provide the costing sheet further, wherein which it will tell you what is your jurisdiction. It's an external or internal. So this because my configuration is basically on US, it is showing for US jurisdictions only right now. So that's for only for standard or external. So if I can say standard, so it is saying it's your responsibility to ensure all data used, any results generated are fully compliant with your relevant jurisdictions, specific sales and use tax reporting requirements, please read restrictions and program documentation. Okay, so you have to confirm, and as I told earlier, these app or configuration access will not be given to everyone who are very prominent enough. Only they can have the access. No, every developer can go and do whatever they want, because these are all very sensitive. So I'm just showing you as part of demo. So because you have a display access, you won't have a write access or no edit access further. So like this, see, we have only one. This is the code which we are used in the entries. As I said, Glenda said, some jurisdiction is not there. She have to use it. So she can put a request. She can create a new entry like this for the new jurisdiction. But for example, let's say I'm giving 999999 something. US optional tax something. I'm just adding like that and save this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so like this, you can create new jurisdictions wherein which you can use it, but I'm telling that this access will not be given to all. It's very sensitive because it's a demo session, we are trying to do it, but in original, you can't do it. So these things, you can use it further. And if you want to upload tax rates, so the configuration for the tax rates is here. This is also a very sensitive environment, wherein which if you want to upload tax rates, because it will be through your file, you have to do it. Okay, or the file might be in your local or in cloud. So from there you have to pick it. So you have to get this, you have to download the template first of all, whatever the tax rates that you want to do. And let me show you that tax template. So this is the tax template, wherein you can see, right, there are some tax rates are there for state, country, district, and everything. Okay, so you have to upload this file into that. Okay, I have to prepare the file. I will prepare file and show you that. Okay, it will waste our time. I'll show you this in the break or something. I'll prepare some small file and show you this, how you can upload the rates here. So like this, you have to download the template and you have to upload that into the environment. Okay, and then this will be uploaded. Okay, so this is how you do your tax codes, you give your jurisdictions, you upload tax rates, you assign your calculation procedures for non-taxable, taxable things. Okay, so like this, you have to manage all your tax-based things in the tax codes of sales and purchases. Coming to withholding taxes, as I said earlier, you have to activate the extended withholding tax for the company code you are going to do for withholding taxes, right? So because localizations are as a self-service, in public cloud, it will be straightforward. So the configuration of specific withholding tax and types and codes that are available, you have to enable them as part of your compliance to region or country, what are you doing for that. Okay, so the very initial step in the withholding tax is like this. So if you go to a withholding tax calculation, you have to activate your extended withholding tax. So let me show you that. This is the one. Activate extended withholding tax. You have to activate this. Okay. If you go here, this is the main configuration panel for this. So you can see your extended withholding tax here for all the company codes. These are all activated. If you create a new company code, if you have a new company name where you want to, do certain things on that, right? Then you have to go for this. This is logged file now. Okay, this is logged. Let me close all these sessions. So like this, you can check this checkbox. Whatever the company codes you want to activate is already activated. Just simply give a checkbox here and simply save that. So your extended withholding tax will be saved for the company code that you have been activated. Now, because without this extended withholding activation, you cannot define your withholding tax types, you cannot define your withholding tax codes, you cannot do any automatic account determinations as well. These are all very important as part of your withholding tax. You have to activate this console. Okay, now I activated this. I'm just closing this, exit. Okay, now the first part is I have to define my withholding tax, right? Tax codes. These are here. Define withholding tax codes. You go to there. So it will ask you the country or region key. So provide the country or region key on which you want to do. Whatever are being done, right? You can see those countries here. So let's say, right? So these are all your new entries only, whatever you're doing. So you have to provide your new entry withholding tax type, withholding tax code, the descriptions. You have to configure everything here, whatever that is required for you withholding tax. Let's say the withholding tax type. See here, there is no value found. Withholding tax type is not there. So which means that you have to configure first here withholding tax type, right? So why I have not told you that, because you have, when I show you this, you'll come to know clearly what is really required. The first important thing is you have to do your withholding tax type. So if you go down, if you go top, so we have this define withholding tax type for payment postings is there. Okay, and then you have to define there. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Just I want to tell one small thing for you here. So whenever we activated that, I just activated some codes, right? So I can use that. Okay. That means we have added for Sri Lanka, right? In the same way, you can add the same country and you can use that in the withholding also. So after activating the withholding tax for a company code, okay, whatever the company codes you want to move for the new countries, everything. So then you have to come to this withholding tax type, because within a single business transaction, sometimes what happens, we have or we might need to withhold some multiple types of withholding taxes, right? There might be there might be a need for that. So system, the SAP system is well versed with it, and then it will accommodate this type of request by utilizing your withholding tax types. So you have to define, or you can define, or you might have the requirement to define several withholding tax types in your system. Okay, so one or more, you can be assigned that in your vendor master record, some certain times, or you can reflect that for your withholding requirements, because the requirements of withholding rates are very diverse. So it will be more of to requirement they're getting changed for it. But this is the main configuration level wherein which you have to do this. Okay, so where is this payment processing? Yeah, this one. So if you go to here, so it will ask you the region. Let's say I'm going for India right now. Go to the new entries. Okay, so I can provide the withholding tax type. What is the new tax type you want to add? For example, you are adding for income tax. Let's say you're adding for TA. This is a withholding tax for income tax in India. Okay, so this is by default 0. You can't change that. The tax number is, because system will takes this configuration numbers. Okay, so you have to just input your value for the withholding tax type here with a valid description, which will be okay. Okay, so this will be tailoring the configuration for your calculation, which will meet your further specific needs of your country and the region on which you will generally do further. And once you are done with this, you can save this. Okay, so on the calculation also again, so you have to know this withholding tax does what? It does net amount, it does gross amount, it does on tax amount, on what it does. You have to select. So I have selected net amount here. The rounding rule is withholding tax common round values, or you want to round up the amount, or you want to round up the withholding tax amount with the down. Up and down will be there. For example, 1.9 is there, 1.9 sometimes it has to take 2, or 1.3 or 1.2 is there, it has to take 1. That is called amount rounding up and down. And cash discounts will be there, wherein which you will provide with tax pre-credits or without tax. Okay, withhold tax with pre-credits and discounts or not. You have to just put it this. And then the accumulation type is no accumulation. If you want to accumulation per calendar year or quarter or month, you can select these ones. And your control settings will be, you know that already, if you're already using that. So you have to a minimum, maximum amount codes and all these things will be there. So just have to simply do this. These will be automatically selected. So you have to just check it and you have to confirm it. So save this one. Your withhold tax type is created. Okay. Now go back.
What does the accumulation does if you select any other than no accumulation? Yeah, I'm just checking what's the significance of the accumulation. What will happen if you selected not the per calendar year, or if not?
The accumulation type of this accumulation type of withholding tax generally works in nature, because if you want to define an amount limit in the withholding tax formulas generally, where in which certain tax code will be mapped to vendor, it will not post to TDS till your amount mentioned here is reached a certain year or value. So if you don't want that to be posted, you will go for no accumulation. If you want to post that particular tax amount to TDS or some other calculations, if you want to post that, you have to post that based on your accumulation type, whether as a calendar year you'll post the tax code to that person or company, or based on quarter you do, or based on monthly tax you do, you have to select that. That is the accumulation type. It's a government rule in country to country accumulation. It's yearly, monthly, quarterly, or with any other thing involving in it is what it will be selecting. That is what accumulation.
Okay, so like for example, if a certain withholding tax type, like here in the Philippines, we have freelancers, wherein if their income or our payment to them has is more than 250,000, we will have to withhold. But if it is lower than 250,000, the accumulated earnings for the year, we do not have to withhold them in tax.
Right. You have to do like that only. So save this, guys, and then go back. I'm exiting this. Now in the same configuration where I just created the new thing, right? Now I use this one. If you go here, you will see the value of TA, which we created. See, this is what we configured now. When I go for this, one second, guys, system is struck. Right, so we have given withholding tax code. Now withholding tax code, you can do something like 01 or something, and put the description as something like standard rate for this. Okay, and then you can see some base amounts and all these things that are not required, but yes, you can let's post something like this. If you go, let's say 100%. And here the posting indicator is there. Okay, let me tell you about this posting indicator. You have 3 postings will be there, guys. Standard posting, offset entry to GL, which is grossing up, offset entry to GL normal. So normal posting, this is the standard posting is called normal posting. The withhold tax amount is deducted from the vendor line item amount. If you select this, whenever you want the withholding tax amount should be deducted from the vendor line amount, like posting an invoice at entry or from the payment amount, and certain times, you want to make posting it at the time of payment, some taxes has to be excluded. That means they have deducted, not excluded, deducted. So for that time, you have to go for the standard posting. So many of the times you go for the standard postings only, because system creates a line item for this withholding tax when you do this particular thing. Okay. And coming to second one, offsetting entry to GL account. What is this means? The withholding tax, that means this entry to GL account number reduction will be there in the subledger when you take this particular thing. Okay. The third one, this is a very simple one. Instead of second one, this is a very simple one. When you select this 3, the system creates 2 withholding tax line items with 1 credit, 1 debit. This is the one for GL account. But this one, what is the second one? When you select this, the withholding tax amount will be multiplied by the factor with the withholding tax rate and the tax code. There is a formula that applies in the system, which will be called, there is a factor of offset GL gross factor is there, which we generally will be saying as 1 by 1 minus P, where P stands for withholding tax rate of your tax code. That is the formula. Whenever you want to get your withholding tax multiplied by these tax code and tax rate of the such situations, you have to use this offset entry for the GL account. Okay. So with this, what happens here also, system creates 2 line items. One is your debit and credit. Okay. But here this option you cannot use with withholding tax scales. Means, when you are but means for certain countries like Argentina, where they have certain grossing up options are there, they use this particular thing. We don't have any in India. There is no grossing up option as of I have seen. Even in US also, for certain states it is not there. Okay, that is why I told you 90% cases we go with 1, or certain cases we go with 3. This is only for certain countries where they have tax gross ups and GL gross ups are there, like Argentina, Chile, and some of the countries are there. So there, this will be used. Okay, for us, this is not required, but I explained you why and why we have to use it. Okay, so let's take it here. We have to go for the standard posting only for now. Standard rate, double click on it. It will be automatically picked here. Okay, and then put the withholding tax rate. Okay, you have to set the withholding tax rate, or you have to specify for using calculation scales, whatever is applied as per the country's notation. For the withholding tax rate, you have the option to input a percentage range right from 0 to 100. Okay, or it might be a fraction also sometimes. You can see here 0 to 100. Okay, the system will, once you provide this particular thing, system will utilize this rate to compute the withhold tax amount from the calculated total withholding tax base amount. It will create like this. So you have to, when you want to do certain formulas, you want to do an like bulk calculations on this, you have to activate your withholding tax formulas indicator as well. Okay, so system will calculate the withholding tax amount from the withholding tax base amount with one of the standard combination of type and code. This is all internally automatically will be done, but here you can do that if you want. See, there is a formula. If you want to add, you can add that one also. Okay, but for now I'm just going for your normal configuration. I'm just showing you right now. So let's go with this one. Add certain 5% of withholding tax rate and save this. Save this. Will take you to the request. Okay, and then save this. Exit. Okay, close this. So now we define withholding tax type. We assign that to tax code. And then next what? You have to define an account determination. This is all step-by-step process, guys. I'm going step-by-step only. So whenever you establish a new tax type, you have to, it's crucial to link it to a general ledger account, right? So this linkage is facilitated through your configuration activity, which we call it as automatic account determination. Okay, so this automatic account determination helps you there, in which you can actually do this through your withholding tax that we have defined. Okay, so let me show you how you can do that. So whenever you create a new tax type, right, which we created, always remember you have to assign a small, it's a small activity. You have to assign a GL account to it. So this will be done through your automatic account determination only. So when you go to the accounting, so not from here, again, you have to go to the accounting. So yeah, there is this. Yeah, in the general ledger, in the account determination, see, automatic account determination. This is an important step for the configuration. We go here. Just take a little bit. So you have to select your accounting here, financial accounting, and then the sub area will be your general ledger accounting, and then your process will be your defined tax accounts. This is the defined tax accounts. Okay, this is all automatic steps, guys. You have to go to the step 2 from there. So here we have to configure the transaction group, key, and chart of accounts. Okay, the transaction group of withholding tax is designated with certain value here. We have to give it. Okay, and transaction key, whatever is identified, we have to provide, and then the chart of account for the specific configuration. Okay, and whatever it will ask, we will be giving here. So here, as I said, this is the standard miscellaneous taxes. Whatever you add new types, right? Other than system pre-delivered, those are all comes under miscellaneous taxes only for the system in the account determination. Okay, so select this one, STE. Okay, now in the transaction key, we will be selecting. This is the transaction key, extended withholding tax. I told you right at the start of the process, we have to activate the extend withholding tax. This is for the account determination only. So this one you do it, and then you have to select the chart of accounts, which was created by you, and then it will ask you the relevant withholding tax type and tax code. What we created now, TA, right? You can see this is the one which we created, right? So configure that one, and you have a tax code for that also. You can provide that one, which is 01 or something we created, right? Yeah, this one, standard rate. You don't need to give, or you can give, no issues. Go to the step 3. So you have to provide these ones. You have to add it here. The withholding tax type, which is TA, have to again select the code. You can leave it or you can select that, and you have to provide the debit and credit accounts. Okay, there's a variance step. You have to assign certain general ledgers because we have to specify for withholding tax. These are the identifying general ledger numbers for debits and credit accounts. You will be configuring those here. Let's say I'm adding here these numbers. The same number here I'm adding for the credit and debit.
Hi, Mr. K.
Then review it once again. Then review it. You will get all your data here, and then simply save this. So the configuration of your automatic account determination will be done with this. So this is what we do as part of the account determination. So once the account determination is done, guys, we have to assign our new withholding tax type to the company code. So I'm going all the step-by-step configuration. First, we created the withholding tax type. We assigned that to withholding tax code, and then we did the automatic determination for the GL. We assign a GL. Now you have to assign your new withholding tax type to the company code. So now go back here, close this. Okay, so now once we are done with that, let's add this new withholding tax type to the company code. So for this, we have to assign that in our tax management. If you go to back to the withholding tax, once you're done with that, go to the withholding tax, the tax management. So if you can see, yeah, assign withholding tax types to company codes. This you have to configure. So already the company codes and everything is been laid down here. It's a very simple thing. Which you have to just go for the new entries. And then provide the company code on which you want to add it. For example, I'm going for Stripe company code itself only. So I'm taking that. So here you will be adding the TA. Okay, earlier we used for some other thing, this one. Like this, yeah, you have to add your company codes here. Yeah, our company code is different, I think, so it is not getting here. Okay, I'll get it for this later. Let me show you this here. So the TA will come generally here because the company code is different. So it will come here and you have to add any of these types here and then simply save this. See, existing same key. So we have to add entries are different, we have to provide our own entry here. We close this. Okay, you have to add your company code and you have to add it here. So let me add it little later in the meanwhile. So just you have to add your company code and have to save this. Okay. And then you have to assign your withholding tax code to a supplier finally for this. Let me show you this one. Okay, so once we assign this to company codes, we have to assign this to suppliers as well. So we have to assign your withholding tax codes to suppliers. So for that, just click on anywhere here. And then if you go to manage supplier master data, okay, so here you will see the manage supplier master data, wherein which if you go to your new one here, okay, any suppliers, you can go the earlier data that we have like this. You can go to any one supplier. You can actually put the, assign this withholding tax to them as well. So if you go to the company codes, basically, there's nothing is there here. So in the company code with the data in which we will be seeing this withholding taxes there, if a company code is created for that. So you can add that withholding. My vision is like here. I want to add the withholding tax here. Let me show you that by adding one more row here. If you go back to the supplier, create one for the organization. Just want to show you, I'm not completely configuring here. So in the company codes, when you go here and you create, see here in the withholding tax panel, you can use this ones. Once you create a company code activating this, you will get this here in the withholding tax type and tax code. You will be leveraging the new withholding tax type and tax code here, and you can assign that these to suppliers, and from there your taxes can be easily inputted there, and it will be calculated for the further data calculations. Okay, so this is how you have to add to your suppliers and tax codes. We have to configure for your withholding taxes. Okay, and as you seen that, like we have created withholding taxes, different things are there. But when it comes to the validation of a tax ID format, how you generally do that? Because validating a tax ID is also essential for many different reasons are there across the part for that. Okay, so when you say, like the compliance with the local regulations will be there at times, we have to make the accurate business transactions are there, how to check for the efficiency in the business processes or data integrity. These are all depends upon your tax ID validations, right? For example, if you take the efficiency, your automated validation of tax IDs should be there, without which how can you measure the efficiency? Because these tax IDs should be streamlined with your business processes, because you should not have any manual errors on top of that, or else sometimes it's crucial for us to correct the tax calculations and reporting, so directly they might impact our company's financial integrity. So for all these things, you have to make a validating of your tax ID formats. Okay, generally the validation of your tax ID formats requires a lot of logic. I'm just giving you this heads up to you. You will not be doing this. Being you, me as a functional consultant, we don't have any right to do, because this all has been done through a ABAPer or a S4 HANA native HANA consultants who writes logics for baddies. Okay, so wherein which the validating of this tax ID formats requires certain implementation and validation logic will be there. We will be writing that in a thing called baddie, which is called business ID. So there they create a repository of messages and test the implementation. For example, if you want to validate the format of your TIN, which is tag identification number for a country or a region, and you have to display error message in case of invalid format. For example, my number is some 4 letters, and then in India some numbers, and a mixture of numbers will be there in the PAN. Okay, for example, TIN, I'm just giving an example to you. So if the TIN, whatever I provide is not a valid, I have to get an error, right? So in the same case, this kind of things, when they're proposing any wrong things or wrong data in it, it should validate it. Whatever has been given, it should not take it. If it is taking like that, system will get redundant data, right? So you have to put a gate at it, that itself only, to validate your data, and then the relevant data will be travel into a database. So you have to do so by implementing a cloud baddie to validate the format and creating of different tax ID related validations, and it will store all the different error messages also. So the whole goal or whole aim in the particular thing is to validate a tax ID, let's say VAT, value added tax, for a particular company code. So that VAT number, it should start with certain letters, and it's a mixture of certain digits also, right? So whenever user enters the tax number, system will check for the correct format and displays the error messages in the format where it will be checking, and it provides the same to the customer that with certain error number, 1 is 01 valid, 02 invalid date, or 03 invalid social security number or Aadhaar number, like that. So to successfully accomplish that, you have to create a repository to grow, to store the custom messages, and you have to implement some validation logic across that. Okay, but as a functional consultant, again, as you and me are functional consultants here, we have very limited scope for that, where we can see what they have written and what they have been done. But to create a custom code list, basically, like whatever you want to create a custom code list for the tax ID validations, all these things, right? So you will be having an app for that. I'll just show you that just for information, wherein which you can write all your custom reusable elements, and you can write the baddies from the ABAPers help, all these things. So that app is called custom reusable elements. This is the app. Whenever you want the tax ID validations of or error detection is required for that, you want to do certain customization. This is no. So here in the custom code list, you will be writing this one. I'm just showing you where this will be there. There is no data for now in this because we have not had any baddies. I don't have enough things for that also. But yes, in this custom code list, you will be having the edit option will be there, wherein which you can write that one baddie here. Okay, you can add that and you can start writing your custom code list further, wherein which the ABAPer can further write the like baddies on top of that, and messages whatever he want to configure for the validation values will be there. He will be helping for you on that. Okay, this is an app. You just remember that if you want any customization on this particular thing, you can get into it and you can put this particular list. Okay, so this is about the taxation, guys. So one thing which was asked by someone, I'll provide that that crossing up will be in the last part of the session. Okay, and the next part I'll be discussing with you is
the withholding tax threshold limit fixing up for suppose the Indian entity was in that the threshold limit under the contract 194C, how you will define, suppose the validation period start from this date to this date, some percentage will be applicable. That kind of conditions, how to fix it. If the PAN is available, there is a one rate. If not available, different rate we need to charge. This kind of configuration where you will do that.
You want me to show where these limits are getting maintained?
Yes, limitations and time frame.
For the Indian customers, you cannot maintain like combination of threshold.
Not Indian customer, Indian company code, the withholding tax under the 194C. How you will configure?
Okay, let me show you. The limits are always maintained at your withholding tax type or code level only. Whoever is asking the question, let me show you that. So you want to provide the minimum and maximum amounts? Someone who asked me.
The threshold limit for based on the sections, withholding tax sections, we have threshold limit. Based on that, how the tax rate is calculating, and also if you know that Indian companies, if the vendor is having PAN, there is a rate. If not having PAN, there is a standard rate we need to deduct. That kind of conditions I am telling. In addition to that, within a year, there are two tax rate is getting changed. Example, if Jan to April one rate, from 1st May onwards, different rate means how you will segregate based on that period cycle.
Is this what you're expecting, the withholding tax minimum amounts, the threshold for minimum amounts?
Not sure, but take for instance, if the 194C, there is a minimum threshold limit of 30,000 euros in that. Beyond that, only the tax rate should be calculated with a certain percentage.
Those all have for customization. There are no standard configurations like this. No, I can show you min-man in the tax code, but what you said, right? Certain amount if I cross, this should be the tax. If two different states have this, no, you said some conditions, right? All conditions you have to go for whatever I told you, the customization, right? There you have to make the customizations with using baddie implementation logic.
So there is no straightforward.
No straightforward sections like this. But as you said, the threshold upper lower limits are there. I'll show you that. Let me check on that in one of the tax code section. It is there. I will check and get back to you on that. That one that is there. I'll just check.
Because if you take any Indian company, it's a standard rule. It should be by default, SAP should have that scenarios. That's why I'm asking this.
Let me check. I'll check and get back to you. But as of I said, you have to write certain withholding tax calculations here. This is how the formulas you have to calculate, and you have to make certain. This is the formulas first of all. Whatever you said, you have to make some formulas for withholding tax calculations. Or specifically, if you're asking if this is more than that, this is less than that, then you do that. This type of conditions comes here. And wherein which you have to write logics for that. It's not direct configuration. Any such conditions in any of the thing, even in finance or any of the model, that they have to depend on the baddies on. That I will reconfirm with you.
Okay.
I'll reconfirm with you on that. When it comes to intercompany accounting, that's all a process. It goes with recording and accounting for the financial transactions between the entities and which was owned by the parent company, as I said earlier, right? So intercompany accounting is important as it ensures the compliance, which is main for the financial reputation, and the statements that we want to produce, and even at any duplications count, all these things will be there. So as part of the S4HANA public code, especially, as I said earlier, we have the intercompany process there. Yesterday I explained you the intercompany process also on that, right? So in relevancy to that, when we are doing the intercompany's accounting process, so we have to match a lot of resource management, configuring the different managed resources for the accounting. You have to understand the business apps for that, for the project resource management, for the intercompany accounting, basically. Okay. And then certain other simulations will be also there, as part of the intercompany, eliminations or intercompany services that we want to use further for that. Okay. So let me show you a small demonstration, as I have stopped earlier yesterday, the same thing also. So once we have gone with the intercompany's accounting structure, so these are the following things which comes into picture. So let me show you that. So how to perform the intercompany process is what we have to understand first of all as part of these configurations or things. Let me show you that. So first of all, you have to, while performing any intercompany process, the most important thing is you have to. This is how the steps will be there for that. So to perform the intercompany accounting process or intercompany process, first of all, you have to create a intercompany sales orders. Okay. And then you have to generate your intercompany billing request. Okay. And then you will create your intercompany invoices. This is how any intercompany process that you want to do as part of the intercompany accounting will be looking like. These are the three important steps which you have to do as part of the intercompany accounting process. Okay. And not only that, you have to create the intercompany sales orders, intercompany billing requests, intercompany invoices also there, which I'll show you as part of this intercompany accounting thing. Okay. And there are some prerequisites also for that, which I'll explain you. So let me go first of all show you how you can actually do this intercompany posting logics and all these things, how we generally do for that. So let's perform the small process now. So the first one is I'll be creating the intercompany sales orders. So for this, if you go to any one of this here, and we go here, any one app open for that. Go to the home page, close this, just to open the home page. Create the sales order for this. So you have this intercompany. So go with that. So we have to create the intercompany order. So as I said earlier, SO03 all is your intercompany orders. Yesterday we have struck at this level only, right? So this SO03, see here, SO03 is your intercompany order. Okay. So when you come to here, This is the intercompany order we are just making for the intercompany accounting based things. So once you are done with this, just simply go ahead with the continue bar here. Let's continue here. One second, let me check this entry. Right, so for this, we have to maintain the plan for this because the associated plant and sales org are not interlinked. So if the plant and sales org are not associated, this error will come. So to resolve this, you have to maintain the plant with the correct sales organization and distribution combination. So let me check that. This is, and I'll go with the integration part. This is the one, assign sales organization, distribution and plant. Go to the next topic, which is workflow management, which is upload approvals for that. Okay, so on the workflow levels, so whenever we are looking for the special workflows in SAP Public Cloud, so we have a simplified workflow setups, without complex developments. Right? Earlier, I have showed you this workflows also. In one of the payment automated workflows and automated payments also have showed you these workflows. Okay, so these are part of the business workflows, wherein which different lines of business can use that, like finance, procurement, HR, sales, all these different things can be used as part of the flexible workflow. So this flexible workflow, basically we have to have a small environment. As I said, you should have the standard BPC SAP expert role should be there. Earlier I told you that. Okay, and then in the configuration, if you go to the configuration, so let me clear this one. For the workflows, what is the major thing you have to do is, for example, if sales is there, if you go to the basic functions expansion for this, so you will be having the defined reasons, okay, that you have to go for that. So you have defined reasons for not this one, this is for rejection. You have to define reasons for approval request. See here, this is the one which you have to configure for all your approvals. Okay, so this has to be configured in the modules where you are working for that. So if you go for define reasons for approval requests, it will show you this. So you should add your approval request reason here. Okay, so you must define at least one reason for approval request to set up the approval workflow for all your sales documents, whatever the sales documents you want to further use for that, right? So you have to make at least one. So you have to configure that. So let's say I'm configuring here ZOR01. Okay, let's give the reason. Okay, so you can mention it's an external workflow. If it is not, you can just skip this and simply save this. That's it. You have to configure this. Okay, and then once this approve or whatever the workflow that you want to add it here, once you have added that here, you close this. If you go to the assign reasons will be there. So assign the approval request that you have defined for the document categories for this. So go here, assign reason for approval request. Okay, put the new entries. So which order you want to make it for? Is it for quotation order, whatever you want to make it, right? So you can actually put it here. And you have to put your new one, which we created right now here, this one, and simply save this. So this will be the initial assignment is done, the initial creation of your workflow is done, and then you have to give your user and role authentication for the workflows that you are going to work in your items. Okay, like you have to, because there are many ways especially two ways to assign the user to workflow. One is by user and second is by team. So you have to use anyone based on your thing, but anyone who is having the managerial access or admin access is there in their roles. Only though those people can do this particular activity, because user needs the role of the standard admin role when he want to assign certain things in that. So for that, you have to go here. Let me show you this. If you go to the app, and you go to this app, let me show you that. Manage workforce. This is the workforce app is there, wherein which for any line of business, not only sales, for even finance, you're controlling whatever the different lines of business is there. You can actually create that here. So you have to create a user here, the worker ID, the name, email, everything like this. Okay, I'm just giving the mandatory fields only and creating that. Whenever you create the role here, right, this will be showcased in your maintain business partner apps with the personal numbers. So there you can actually see that the user needs the, he can actually make this particular thing and he can assign the new teams and things there. Okay, let me show you. It will be created. Okay, once you create here, go to the manage teams. Here's a worker overview. It is the business users. Okay, and you can go to your manage teams. So for all different managed teams are there, wherein which you can use based on this. For asset management, procurement, different things will be there. So there you can actually use these user IDs to assign the team members into it. So like this, you can add the business partners here. You can add team members. For example, whatever the new team members, right, you have added. Like I created a new user IDs like this. You can select the business partner and relevant user IDs and you can add that there. Okay, and your team will be formed. So based on these teams and responsibilities, then you have to go to the logic. There is a logic app is there. Let me show you that one. Because all the workflows again works on the baddie logics only. So where you have to activate the baddie, which will activate the workflow for your finance or sales, wherein which your system admin has to give that role. And then you can go to the custom logic app for this. If you go to the custom logic, so in this custom logic, you go to the custom logic app. So as I already shown you in the last exhibition also, where in here, you will be adding the logic for your complete flow. That means what is your relevant source that is getting that data, what is the API processing, what is the workflow setup that are going to do. So these all will be taken to ABAPer and he will give the, he will write the standard baddies are there. He will write that baddie logic. He will just input what is your quotation contract order, what is your credit memo, what is your debit memo. Look, all these things he will write it for the ranges and everything. And then your workflow will start running on that. So because baddies are not there here, I'm not able to demonstrate that. But yes, this is how generally the workflows will go within the sales and finance. So let me show you one small workflow for your better understanding. So how we can approve a budget document with a workflow. Let me try to show you that. I'm going to home page. This is not added for that. Okay, let me show you any one simple workflow for you here. Suppliers, if I select. So I have already shown you these ones last time. So this one which we created last time. So this is what, the workflows, you have to provide for any line of business. This is the same thing. Okay, which I have just chosen this. Even if it is a budget document or even it's a financial statement or something, you have to make workflow. There will be these sections will be. It's all step by step. So nothing is there here. So you have to provide your workflow name. You have to provide your conditions. Okay, workflow starts with the any preconditions met. For example, if you receive a quotation type, or if you have supplier quotation creator, or if you have, or you are the initiator of the workflow, who will initiate, mandatory, who will have to initiate, you have to provide the name for that. For example, if there is nothing to be initiated, you have to go for none. Or else, for example, if you want certain supplier quotation creator, you have to provide who is supplier creator. Then he will, once he get into the done, then this particular condition will be started. That means once he go, the workflow will be started. So like this, you can create your start conditions. If you have any alternate conditions, for example, this has to be done, that means multiple conditions will be there. Okay, so like this, the quotation creator should be there, the initiator of workflow should be there, both has to see that. Then you have to make a quotation, then you have to write those ones. So like this, you can add these ones and you can start working the working flow. For example, this flow, it states you have to give your statement of your valid from date to till date, and then save this. Go to the properties, start conditions, and then steps. So in the steps, you have to give the step name, the step 1, step 2, step 3. You have to give the step names here. So like, for example, in the step name, so in the step 1, what you're going to do in the workflow, you are releasing a supplier quotation, or are you doing the automatic release of supplier quotation? So you have to release manually, then you have to choose this one. So that is also that release you have to immediately, or it will take some time, or it is very immediate the moment it arrives. It all depends upon the priority. Okay, so let me say it is low. So who will has to do? If you have, for example, this release, who has to do that? For example, you have to do certain user who has to work on that. You have to go with the users also. Okay, so in our system, the users have not been found, so you can just go with your role, who was agent determinant value. Means generally the workflows, as I said right now, these all works internally within the baddies. There is an implementation logic will be there. It's not only configuration that works here. Okay, I configure something and workflow will run. No, it will not, because all our workflows that we are going to run in the business they are having internally many conditions will be there. So those conditions you cannot set up directly, but yes, baddies can make it out. So many of times you have to go with agent determination by baddie. This baddie in the logic, we will be writing who has to do and what has to do. Okay, if it is a high level like a final approver like manager, someone has to do, then this you can use it. Okay, so but this is what generally we go. Then you have to provide the baddie also for that. Okay, the baddie will comes into picture. Okay, in the same way, you have to provide your steps for that. Is there any action they have to take approval or something? If it is nothing, okay. And the action result, if there is an error, repeat step. If there is no, you have to continue the next step. So like this, you have to make the other things. Okay, if you create, these steps will be created one by one. You can add a number of steps like that, and then you can simply save the workflow. So this is how you have to create your workflows and approvals in the S4HANA public cloud. So these are all depends again. This is a basic or a normal setup. Again, you have to go for the help of a ABAPer or a code or a CDS view guy who actually does for that in S4HANA, because without them, we can't write logics. Okay, we can't implement our logics. So this is always how we can achieve the workflow management in the S4HANA public cloud. Okay, so this is about workflows and approval managements. And coming to tag integration with the external system. That means, as I said earlier, we have two integrations are there. One is with the MM integration, another is with the FI SD integration. So let me first of all talk about the FI SD integration, because it is most importantly we speak about, or we we see in the outside market more onto the SD integrations in the S4HANA, though MM is also occupying a greater thing. FISD integration, basically, let me show you one thing here. So this FISD integration, this has the following things, First of all, why we have to go with this integration? What is the need for that? Because this is not, I'm just not giving any understanding for the SD concepts, but yes, you have to understand what is exactly required by the finance team from SD module when you are integrating the FISD integration. Okay, so we have to go with certain criteria on this, because the moment you assign GL accounts, the moment you create a chart of account or use the existing chart of account, okay, Then you have to do some custom account group assignments. There are certain things, step-by-step things are there, wherein which you have to do as part of the FYSD integration. So let me show you all these things one by one as a step-by-step process to you, so that you'll understand the FYSD integration. Within the availability of the system, I'll try to show you the best for you. Let me start with that. Right. So when we are doing the SD component, basically, I know many of you know how many of you really gone with the ECC kind of stuff. In the earlier part when you're integrating this, we generally use the automatic post procedures, right? When we are integrating the FIMM or FISD, the most important thing we do is automatic post and procedures. So wherein which we use a T code called GOBYC. In public code, it is not. The T codes are not there, right? So you have to go for that. So in case of any standard sales orders, what is that generally we do? We create a outbound goods delivery in the customer. We'll take care of the movements. And then we will make certain general ledger accounting on top of that, and then we use whatever the relevant goods movement types. We'll configure all those things. We'll configure the movement types to the different segments, like for receipts, production orders, scrapping of goods, initial uploads. So all these things will be there as part of that. And in relevant to that only, the integration also goes one by one in the FISD integration scenarios here. Okay, so here let me show you one thing. So for this integration, we require this prerequisites, guys. One of the important thing is your material master, okay, your customer master, the condition records, the pricing procedure, and finally GL account. So GL accounts means which were relevant to sales, discount, etc., whatever it may be. Okay, so let me explain you first of all before I demonstrate things to you. Why these are highly, like we require this means because SAP S4HANA follows certain process cycle when I'm doing a finance and sales integration, which means the finance integration methods remains unchanged. Okay, for the integration, you have to follow certain process for the account determination. Now, this is what the process I'm telling right now. What are these prerequisites are there? For this only, I'll give you the steps now, how you have to do and what you have to do. For the finance and controlling modifications, with new new public cloud features that we are adding here. So you have to go for these individual steps one by one on that. Okay. So first one is your material master, which I'll explain you now. Okay, and then I'll show you one by one. So in the material master, the account assignment group is one of the important thing in the material master, which you have to look into it. So we have to determine the GL criteria here in the material master, and we have to make, because at the integration level, whatever from SD to FI, when certain data is getting traveled, right? So you have to make use of one second. You have to make use of account assignment there. So for that account assignment is here, you have to you have to post the GL accounts in that particular material master. Okay, so that is what I am going to do for this in this demonstration. So then once the material master is done, you have to do for the customer master, wherein which you will do the account assignment for the customer masters for the relevant GL accounts. Okay, and then you will go to the condition records as the third step, the pricing procedures, everything you'll start integrating with the relevant GL accounts. Okay, and then finally you will make the GL accounts, the pricing procedures once decided with this condition records, you'll finally make the GL accounts that has to be present to your complete account determination, wherein which the process will be completed. That means you'll do some sort of settings as part of connectivity, and which your final SD to FI integration will be completed. So with all these 5 prerequisites. Okay, so let me show you one by one what you have to do here. Okay, so the first important thing in this particular thing is we have to first of all assign the GL accounts, because in earlier ECC mode you have we have seen that with certain integration point, we will be reviewing certain integration tables will be there. So let me show you that. Okay, the first thing is you have to assign GL accounts. So first of all, go for GL accounts. Assign GL accounts. First, go to here. So this is our GL account assignments will be there. If you position on this, you can see the chart of accounts. Just go there, continue. So primarily what I'm doing is I have to first of all assign the GL accounts for the integration, whatever I'm going to do. So that is what I'm trying to do here. So the most important part, like these are some of the settings missing here. I'm just looking for that. For doing this integration, FISG integration, basically, as I said, like you have our entries basically will go to the debits or credits, right? As I said earlier. So onto that, we have the configuration on, especially on the assignment and revenue account determinations will be there. So one of these important configuration steps is you have to first of all do your revenue account determination for that. So all your determination will be like this. So let me show you that, because in public cloud, few of the things are missing. So I'm just checking for that, because in ECC, I might show easily, I can run the demonstration also easily. But in public cloud, few things are missing, just checking for that. Let me refresh this. If you go to the sales one here, under basic functions, we have account assignment and costing will be there. So let me check this one. Yeah, so this is the revenue account determination, which, okay, so the first important thing for the SDFI integration configuration is you have to define your revenue account determination. Okay, so there are total 6 configuration steps or more will be there as per the older accounts, but you have to check for that, like all your dependencies for that. If you can see here, you can see display condition tables, define access, define account keys, change the condition tables, and then change condition tables for revenue account determination. These are create and change. So these are the important steps which will be important, when you are doing that. And very importantly, you have to define your account keys for the determination. So this is the important. Wherever the star marks are there, those are important for your integration. So this is mandatory. Okay, even though few things, if you have to see here, so you can see that. So first of all, for FISD integration, the first important step is you have to define account keys for your revenue account determination. Okay, just if you click on here, so whatever for the required things that in your sales to FI are required, right? So those are already pre-delivered by SAP. If you still need something, you can go with the new entries. For example, I'm giving for SR01 or strive entry, something I just added as a a new thing here. Just save that and go back. The new entry will be there. Okay, it will come. The new entry will come. So here, first of all, we define the account determination for the integration, whatever you want. This is the account keys, we did it. So you have to define access sequences also for the account determination. So what is the access sequence? Okay, so this tells us that means which segment that you're going to do. That means for the account determination, what is the access that you want? Like in the these are the different sequences, like account determination, factoring, intercompany settlements. The type of business, the flow that you're going to tell to the system as part of the integration. So this is the important thing where you define the access sequence for your revenue accounting thing. So here we will be just positioning this, and we have to just reconfirming that whatever that we have. Okay, if you have any separate acquisitions, you can add it. Okay, there's nothing that all are pre-delivered and pre-configured. So nothing to add as of now here. So I'm just checking. This is a step for checking further. So once you are done with the access sequence, okay, if you have any condition tables you want to create for the revenue account determination, you can create here. This is all configuration only, guys. For the integration, I'm not giving process because you people are more looking for configuration only. So I'm just giving the configuration here. So here you will be selecting the table for which you want to make the conditions. For example, this is a sales thing. So if you go to this one, so you can just go with that and you can create your own conditions and put the table numbers for that. Okay, let me give the table number 502. And you can provide conditions for that. Okay, some of the data is not available here. So the access is restricted here. So I cannot, because of standard content, right? So whatever the new conditions you want to add it, right? You can see the selected fields. You have to just, drag and drop those ones into here. So whatever you want. This is the selected fields and these are your field catalogs. You can see here. Okay. And these are your field attributes. Okay. So on this level, whatever you want, you can just select them as part of the condition entries. And then if you have any changes are there, you can go for these change condition tables for the revenue account determination. So with this, the first important part of configuration, which is account determination, will be completed. So after that, you have to check the master data that is relevant for your account assignments. Okay. So for any integration, either in the same steps will go for also, but with a separate data for that. So you have to go for the master data. So for that, you have to check master data for the relevant, that is for your account assignments. Okay. So just check here, master data. Because these are grouped and different things are there. Let me check. So you have to define the master data, or you have to check the master data that is for your account assignments. Okay. And then you have to understand that, whatever the new entries if you wanted, you can add there. So I just am checking here the master data for that. So yeah, this particular checking of master data, you have to do it in the app. You go to the home page. So you can see the displays purchase order by account assignment. So in this, all the relevant master data will be there. So if you go here, provide the scope of list here, just to check the master data. That's it. No, nothing more than that. That the master data is existing here. It might be there. Entering all these things will waste our time. So yeah, this will be there. The master data will be there. You have to check it from here. Your purchase documents for accounting assignment will be there. So in this, your relevant cost centers, WBS elements, your purchasing organization, your document type, your group, plant, all these things, relevant to this particular sales, whatever you want, you'll be getting that through this app. Okay. And then once you are done with that, you have to go with your dependency checkup. You have to define the dependencies for your revenue account determination. Why we have to do is, as already mentioned, the purpose of setting up your accounting determination is to differentiate your accounts for posting in the integration part to like customer account, like we are differentiating that your account from different posts that you made for customer account group, account keys, all these things will be there, right? So the first activity here is you have to decide which all criteria will be used for such differentiation when you do the integration. So to do that, you have to do this account determination and you have to provide the dependencies on top of that as well. Okay, so you can add whatever the things in the dependencies as well whenever there is a need for that. So first of all, let me try these dependencies. If not, it will be available in the app. I'll check from the dependencies here. So these dependencies will be there in the field catalogs. See, some of these integration features has been depreciated, so that is the reason, some many of the apps are not getting fine to me. See, I am also facing difficult, doing this. So as part of the master data, right, you have to we have to create certain condition tables, or we have to as I said earlier, we have to display the condition table data also, the account determination. As I said, if we not, we can actually create that, right? So then you have this change field catalogs will be there. So in the account determination, if you want to add certain payment types, for example, let me show you this here, like credit cards, like your card entries or anything, that was relevant to it. If you want to add, see, you can see there are many field catalogs will be there as part of the sales integration. You have to determine in this account determination. Okay. So here, whatever is required, right, you can actually save, you can actually, make use of them. Okay. And these are all into display mode only. So whatever you want to add, as I said, you can define new field catalogs also, but these are all pre-configured, whatever for the FISD integration is required, right? So this particular field catalogs are important for us, wherein which we can add condition tables on top of this. There can be many tables each time when you go with the combination of criteria and all these things. But yes, these are the important things which you will be making use of that. Okay, these are the main fields and descriptions which will be used in our integration. Okay, and then these are all configured. If you want to configure new, as I said earlier, you have to go and create a new one there. Okay, and after that you have to create the condition tables. Wherever you want to create condition tables, you can create that. We go to the create condition table, as I said earlier. I've shown you also, right? So you can create your new field. Okay, you can write that, and you can write a new table for that, and you can just create that. Okay, so why I'm telling all these things is as part of SD integration. Okay, so you have to do these things must, and these are the configuration things which are mandatory for us. You can see for configuration, the first part is you have to configure your account, your revenue account determination. So once that is done, you have to define your access sequence, which we have already done that. I showed you that, right? And then we defined what? We defined our, we have checked the master data. Okay. And then we have checked the conditions or displayed the condition tables. Okay. And then we have displayed the field catalogs for all the because what are the different fields are there for that. We have seen that. Okay, as these are all as part of the configuration only. So then if there is any new condition table is there, we can create as part of the integration. So we have seen that how to create the condition table also, right? Once all these things is there, okay, your accesses and everything is done, you want to make use of all these things, then we will go to the next important thing, which is our determination of remaining payable things. Means here, okay, so once the catalogs are also defined and displayed, I mean whatever are important here, then you have to define your define or assign your account keys, right? So where you have defined that, we have defined here. If you see here, when you go to the account keys option here, from here, see, this is why you have to define your account keys for the revenue account determination, wherein which here you will define your new account keys. So we have already seen, we have already pre-configured things are there. So I've shown that, right? So once after that, once the account keys has been done this, you will be checking for the pricing procedures, and that pricing procedure, let me show you that. So you have to assign pricing procedures to your sales things here. So let me show you that. So you have to set pricing procedures, or you can set the pricing procedure determination. Anyone you can do. So if you go to the set pricing procedures, what is the pricing procedure you want to use it in the FI that you have to make use of? There are many are there here. If you want to add new pricing procedures, whatever you want. For example, you have a separate procedure in Stripe. You can add that as ZSTR01 Stripe pricing procedure and save this. So that will be added further. Okay. Further to it, once you have done the pricing procedures also, and the last parts for the configuration will be your GL accounts. Okay. So here, define pricing procedures or use existing ones. So it's pre-configured, and finally you have to assign GL accounts. Okay, so here while you assign GL accounts, you should be careful of what you are assigning GL accounts, and for displaying for the other purposes on that. So as you already know how to assign, let me show you that how to assign that. This is the last step in your configuration part of HD integration. So when you go to here or CBC, if you go for assign this one, so you should not use this one, only this one in the account, assign GL accounts. This is the last step in the GL accounts, guys, because those individual data that needs to be displayed, which you want to link it with your account determination. So where we have used in account determination procedures and all these things, you have to make the assignment of the GL accounts. Okay, so these GL accounts will be a more kind of whatever that you want to add, assign for different condition tables or different assignments in the GL account that you want to provide for the integration. All that configuration you will make it in the assign GL accounts, right? So here you will be simply assigning this, and then you will be adding further. If you go here, let me add for this. If you go to the assign GL accounts, you should add for new entries here. Okay, so here let's try to, this is a product based entry. It's a similar way we will be having on the sales also assign GL accounts. Okay, so this also looks the same way here. So if we can actually go to the chart of accounts here. So you have to assign the chart of account and the material group and the relevant materials for that. Let's say whatever it might be, I'm just taking for the configuration purpose randomly. And then the relevant GL accounts, you have to assign for that. Okay, so you can just add n number of accounts like this. So there are some mismatches are there. We have to correct these ones. Just let me correct these ones. Some group is getting mismatched, wherein which is not accepting me. Let me check any other group. So this is the last step, guys. You have to assign the GL accounts so that the GL accounts are mapped to it. And then in the account determination analysis view, you can see your sales and your sales document numbers and your finance general ledger has been like coming in one single way where it is integrated. It's what the final output where you will see. I'm trying to assign that, but this is not getting assigned. Let me check this. The relevant thing here. Let me recheck this. Let me check, is there any other thing that I can actually make on top of it? Need to check this configuration. So for the chart of accounts, we can try to add this material. Without materials also, we can add GL account. This chart of account will take that particular GL accounts. See, I have added this GL account. It is saved now. So this is got assigned. When you see this again, the same one, come back. You can see that assigned one here. Okay, so this is how we will be assigning. And finally, once the assignment is done, as a last step, you have to go for the revenue account determination, wherein which you will see the this particular entries that we have added right in the revenue document. We can actually see that as part of the account determination analysis. So let me show you that in the app itself. Only this will be available. So this one last step is there, just in account determination analysis, whatever. With this, the STFI configuration will be completed. But this is the one thing, account determination analysis is not there. So I'm just finding the relevant one for this. Let me find this. I hope that particular determination analysis is not there. Let me check with what app SAP is giving that. Because last time the analysis was there, but I'm not able to see that. Because what is the final step is, guys, here. Once as I have assigned the GL accounts for the chart of accounts. So now when I go to the revenue accounts of the account determination analysis, there I can see the chart of account, the account key that we created, the condition type that I have done, the access sequence that we have done. So everything that has been assigned to this document, GL document number, wherein which the configuration of your FI, SD will be confirmed. Okay, so that part we have to see, but the determination panel is not available. I'm not able to see that. So give me some time. So tomorrow morning, I'll show you the determination panel also, because that is important for even FI integration as well. So with that, that integration configuration will be completed. Okay. So that's it for the day. And someone asked me this withholding tax gross up. So let me show you that as part of that. One second, when I'm going back there. withhold taxes. So when you go to this here on the automatic account determination, okay, when you choose this activity right on the financial accounting, the sub area will be your general ledger accounting. Your process will be defined tax accounts. Go to the step 2 there. Okay, so in the parameter setup, you will be doing this transaction group, as I said earlier, which is ST. Okay, your transaction keys will be your, let's say, WIT or JRU, because it is without deduction, right? So let's do that. And the chart of accounts will be it's like YCOA. And then once you do this, the other things has to come. The step 3, where in which you will see this tax codes. Okay, if you want to add anything else, you can add this as well, but this just came automatically for us. Okay. Try to add one more thing also here, because I want to add one more thing here. The withholding tax type, will try to take one more from the list. Standard ones are not available. Let's take something and some other number here. Okay, and then review this once. One second. So, so in this step, I missed to get this one. Okay, so let me take an example here, and then I'll explain you that how you can actually do for that as part of the one cycle gross up here. So who has asked that to me? I'm just answering that question to him. So assume that you have invoice from the business partner. Okay, some business partner is there. So let's say we have account and we have some debit and we have some credit, right? So let's say from the bank account, okay, he created certain amount like 6,982.50. Okay, so here the withholding tax payable is, let's say it is around 350. Okay, on that. Okay, so one more withholding tax payable for that will be, let's say around 17.50. I'm just taking some half of this. Okay, your business partner has debited, right? So the business partner debited some value. Let's say he debited 7,000 or so. Okay, and then the withholding tax for this again here is 350 as a tax expense. Okay, so the total is 7350, 7350, right? So in this example, what I want to illustrate is the system calculates here two types of withholding taxes. The first is the 5% of the payment amount. Okay, the amount is paid by you and debited with the withholding tax expense account. And the second 5% is, for the first withholding tax amount. This is the amount paid by the business partner, and it is withholding tax with the business partner amount. So this is called one cycle gross up. So one cycle gross up is a form of paid condition where you, means a bank, and the business partner, they will pay some of the withholding tax like this. Okay, so what happens? So you will get two separate tax items like this. Okay, so you need what? You need two separate withholding tax types. Okay, so like you have to define a withholding tax for invoice posting and for payment posting. So you have to assign a withholding tax code to each withholding tax type, for which you have to define those things. But remember, for the first withholding tax code, you have to post certain values for that, like indicator values. You have to create a expense item for the withholding tax, and and you have to make the payment for the business partner. For all these things, you have to consider for it. And for the second one also, I have to put an indicator value for that. So the deductions will be happening according to withholding tax into it. Okay. So this scenario I'll show you now in the in our system. Okay. Our time is 1 o'clock. I think so. We are already the time is crossed. So let me show you this tomorrow. Okay. How we can represent this gross up by using in the withholding tax segment in our tax configurations. Okay, this is the example I'll consider tomorrow for you, and then I can show you that as part of that in the tomorrow scenarios. Okay, so that's it for days for the day, guys. So tomorrow is the last class. In the last class, I'll be discussing some of the pending things, like the cash flow, the group reporting, this one. Okay, and the FI integration. So with that, our classes will be completed. Okay, and you have a open assignment which will be having 25 MCQs are there. So you have to write that, and the results will be captured accordingly and will be shared with your lead. Okay.